I would start punching myself in the face till I was covered in blood. My nose used to bleed easily, and everyone at the party would freak out. And I just loved.
Yeah, that's the same guy. And if you don't know who this is, well, this is Jimmy Darts. He blew up back in 2020 for his undercover kindness videos rewarding strangers with money for doing good. You can sort of think of him like the MrBeast of TikTok. On the surface, he seems like a nice guy spreading positivity to the world, but there's more to it. Today, we will go over who Jimmy Darts really is, and to do that, we have to start from the beginning. Jimmy Kellogg was born on February 28, 1996 in Walker, Minnesota.
I'm from Minnesota though, a small town of like 900 people.
And from a young age, he already started giving. Every Christmas, his parents would give him $200 and would encourage to give half of it away.
They'd say 100 is for you, $100 is to give away to somebody.
Jimmy went on to explain that this is probably the reason he became comfortable with people in the first place and wanting to hear their stories. At this point, we start to paint a picture of the type of person Jimmy might be. He's kind, loving, and giving, and he has his parents to thank for. This is also the point where he started getting interested in content creation.
Been making videos. I think the first video I ever made, I don't know, I was probably 6 years old.
At some point in time, we all go through a rebellious phase, and Jimmy was no exception. By the time he was 13, he was already making more and more videos. During this time, he was also able to build a following, reaching 18,000 subscribers on YouTube and 30,000 followers on Twitter, doing party videos similar to I'm Schmacked.
I was making videos back then doing party videos. I don't know if you guys remember like I'm Schmacked.
One of the craziest things he's done was back in 2013 when Jimmy was 17. His high school was going to We Day event in Minnesota, and in order to get in, each student had to earn their way to a ticket by doing one local act of charity and one global act over the course of a year. It's uncertain if Jimmy did this or not, but he still goes on to the trip by convincing the school to be the filmer.
And so I told my school, I said, hey, you think I could come on the trip and I could be the filmer, make a cool video? And they're like, yeah, absolutely.
And this isn't just a small event. There's over 18,000 attendees, and thanks to his cousin, he instigates Jimmy to seize the opportunity. He gets past 3 tiers of security, saying that he was an intern at ABC. The last tier of security asked for a badge.
Where's your VIP badge, man? You ain't getting past me.
Which Jimmy, of course, didn't have, but somehow convinced him that he just needed to get a quick shot and then he'd be out. He goes on to get a shot, and the second the security guard turns his head, he books it on stage, goes to the VIP section, and hides. This also reminds me of Eric in his early days of sneaking into places. Jimmy walks up on stage where the speaker is, grabs the mic out of his hand, and says his famous lines.
I said, go subscribe to me on YouTube. I said, chase your dreams. Don't let people tell you what to do.
Afterwards, he walks off stage. Security grabs him, and they put him in a room. Now, some might say this is stupid and childish behavior, considering this literally got him banned from field trips and not allowed in the sporting events with microphones. But there's more to it. Jimmy proved that he's willing to do what it takes, even if that means putting himself in a difficult situation. And this is something he still does to this day, but we'll talk about that later. At 18, Jimmy did the next crazy thing, which took place at the JW Marriott during a Masters golf tournament. He put on a security outfit and went to the golf course just messing with people, saying,
hey, you can't use Titleist here. This is a Nike only course.
He even went as far as to give other golfers a drunk test, which I thought was pretty funny.
I said, whoa there, buddy. Do I need to do a little drunk test on you too?
But apparently one of his victims didn't think so and ended up chasing Jimmy to the bathroom.
He's like, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm gonna kick you.
Thankfully, he thought quick because he said,
how do you think that's gonna sound in court, sir? I'm 17 years old and this is on camera.
Jimmy describes himself as pretty crazy, and I could see why. He loved going to parties and having fun, although his version of fun is a bit unusual. I would start punching myself in the face till I was covered in blood. My nose used to bleed easily, and everyone at the party would freak out. And I just loved. He wouldn't smoke or drink, but he still wanted attention, and that's understandable.
I just loved wild things, you know. Since I wasn't really getting drunk or doing like drugs or anything like that, I just wanted to be involved with the party.
When we're young, we're often confused and don't really know who we are.
Not really knowing God, not having a relationship with Him, and you're just kind of confused.
But eventually Jimmy finds Jesus and finds purpose, which changes his life forever. At 18, Jimmy went to a party in the middle of the woods and, as he puts it, ended up doing some dumb stuff like jumping over the fire. Turns out that his Jesus socks ended up getting burned, creating holes which he didn't want his parents to know about. So when he got home, he prayed for Jesus to fix his socks, then put it behind his drawer, and the next morning, they were healed.
It's like, Jesus, please help my socks, like heal my socks. I hide them in the back of my underwear drawer. Go to bed. The next morning I wake up, grab the socks, and they're brand new.
Whether you're a religious person or not, I figured this part is still worth mentioning since this is where everything started. A few months later, Jimmy graduates high school and has two choices: go to UCLA and continue partying to continue making videos, or go to Hawaii to a Christian school. He chose the latter, and this is where his next religious encounter takes place. From his account, a man approached him asking if he could pray for his scoliosis to get healed. Jimmy lets him pray.
He holds my legs out like this and he goes, watch this. In Jesus' name, be healed right now. And my leg starts shaking and goes straight out to match the length of my other leg.
His whole outlook changed and he started making Christian videos.
Then I started making videos again, but they were Christian videos. So I would do wild videos, go to India, run around a Santa costume, give gifts away, or find a homeless guy, get him a Valentine's date.
He later ended up giving everything up, or as he says, surrendering himself to God, which meant deleting all his old content. Jimmy was completely off the internet for the next few years, which marked a new beginning. After 6 months at Christian school, he returned to Minnesota. He was then deciding whether he should still go to California or Texas.
And I felt like God spoke to me. He said, Jimmy, if it's 96 degrees in Austin, Texas right now, I want you to move there.
So he ended up going to Austin, Texas and got a job at JW Marriott. This is also the time where he started getting really interested in e-commerce and saying that his dream was to own an online business. The model he was interested in was Amazon FBA, and to learn, he watched Ryan Moran religiously. Jimmy was broke, barely able to scrape by, but even so, he still got an overpriced gym membership because he said God told him to.
I was supposed to ask him that, and I felt like he said, go to Lifetime Fitness.
As luck have it, it was the best decision because there he was able to meet Ryan Moran. After talking with him, Jimmy found out Ryan was having a conference which he couldn't afford to get into, but it actually happened to be where Jimmy worked. So during his shift, he picked the brains of the e-commerce experts and started his own Amazon FBA business. Like any entrepreneur, he didn't succeed at first. He tried a bunch of different products from mouse traps to dog water bottles. Eventually, he saw some success selling fidget spinners during the craze, but it died down shortly after. He was doing it how everybody else was doing at the time, which was with fake reviews, but realized that wasn't sustainable or very ethical. Jimmy switched up his process and sold the next banger product, which was cleaning supplies. Easy and boring, but profitable. To this day, he brings in roughly $3,000 a month, which is more than enough to help him live off of. But this success didn't come without giving. It wasn't until he gave away nearly half his net worth that his Amazon business finally started to pick up.
I ended up doing that anyways, gave away that money, and as soon as I did that, that's when my Amazon business took off. It was crazy.
So at this point, Jimmy is doing pretty well. He may not be making a ton of money, but he has enough to live off of. Slowly but surely, he started getting back into making videos. One of his first videos on YouTube was with his brother-in-law. He got a tattoo of Jimmy on his thigh because he lost that basketball, and Jimmy thought it was pretty funny, but his sister didn't think so. Eventually, Jimmy goes back to Minnesota to visit his parents, and his dad asked him the most important question.
Jimmy, what do you want to do with your life?
And he gives the best response.
Honestly, I want to travel around the world, give as much money away as possible, radically change people's lives, and then I want to start the craziest church the world's ever seen with a DJ, pool party, water slide baptisms, and just make church fun.
His dad is the one that encouraged him to go out and make it happen.
And he goes, no, Jimmy, you can't have a plan B. You can't have a plan C. You got to make it happen.
At this point, Jimmy's on a mission and he knew exactly what to do.
So that week I got in my car, hit up one of my best friends. I said, we're going across the country. We're going to make it on TikTok.
He goes to Mount Rushmore, proposes to a random lady, posts it on TikTok, and the rest is history. Jimmy cracked the algorithm. But that's not the point. Normally when people make it, they get caught up in the drama, caught up in the money, and forget why they're doing it in the first place. Jimmy is different. From the start, he had a vision in mind, and his videos go viral for one reason. He's genuine. Whenever he posts a new video, every single person has a real reaction and the audience notices. This is probably because he does so well at hiding his camera.
But the key when I make my best videos is when I kind of forget about all that and kind of get the heart of the video.
People see only a fraction of what really goes on. Giving money to people in need only goes so far, and the real reason for success in getting so many people off the street is by building genuine relationships.
When people don't feel connected, you know, that's when they feel empty, and that's when they try to find things to fill that. So if you can fill that connection void in somebody's life, you can actually break off some of these addictions and then kind of begin to rehabilitate them off the street.
The thing is, Jimmy doesn't have endless money to give to strangers, His followers are the one that help him tremendously. On average, Jimmy is able to raise $500 to $1,000 a day just by doing a live stream, and his goal is to give it away to someone in need who passes the kindness test that same day. So far, it's been working, and he's been making a huge impact in people's lives. And whether you're religious or not, I think we can all agree that Jimmy is a positive impact in this world.
The key is just to always believe the best in people and really just not give somebody money unwisely, but try to do your best to know their story, who they are, the root cause, help them out. That's why I have so much hope for people's lives. I truly don't believe if someone's a mean person, they're going to stay that way the rest of their life.